Sometimes you also need to, you know, from a personal perspective. But the fact is that your consumers are like that now, okay? One screen you can't leave home without. In fact, there's a saying, there's this whole new thing that's happening. We live in interesting times. I think you probably realize it. But if you don't stop and you don't think about it, you actually don't. Because it becomes a natural tendency. Do you know that the phone actually now is an extension of our intelligence? I appear very intelligent and I know a lot of things because I can Google. So it's an extension of us. So you've got to understand, we now cannot live without the handphone. And this is interesting. I'm a baby boomer, or maybe close, right? But even the baby boomers now love the screens. Of course, they are slightly different. They may be hybrid. Like Chok, where's Chok? Right? At night read newspaper. Don't know for what, but still read newspaper. Right? But daytime, one interesting thing that you may want to realize is that research has shown that the fastest growing age group moving into things like Facebook and all that kind of stuff is actually people who are baby boomers. So even if you are launching a $1.5 million nice condo that you are targeting older people because you know their pocket is a bit deeper and you know they got more money they can buy, you might want to think about how to reach them because they are no longer reading the newspaper. Yeah. So, of course, you don't need to go so far. I've got two sons. One just graduated 23 and just went to work. Another one still studying, graduating soon. I can tell you, if you start observing, if you have kids, you will notice that the way that they deal with information is very different. What they believe and what they see and what they read, the way that they perceive information is very, very, very different. In fact, the new generation, I'm looking at the young ones, don't believe in advertisement. That's why social is so hot right now. But that's another question altogether, right? So if you think that you can just put an advertisement in, and then you have a Facebook ad and then you can sell all your properties, you might want to think again, right? Because social media is not an advertising platform, it's an engagement platform. But agents think that they are. So what they do, they take a project, they just blast. And then before you know, your brand also confused because some of you may be very concerned about your brand. And this thing can either kill or help sometimes, right? Because it goes out very fast. But anyways, you agree with me, right? So the first reason is very simple. Consumers are changing. The young are no longer the way that we used to be. But even the old are also changing because we consume information very differently. Right? Second reason, Chok was trying to illustrate this. We live in a very noisy world, correct? Handphone lah, WhatsApp lah, WeChat lah, that one lah, and then driving down the highway. But you see, you spend the most money, however, on all those outdoor advertising, and you know for a fact that, like this morning, Chok just reinforced, you already immune. But let me tell you, it's not only immune. This one really work. You're shaking your head. Can you shake more vigorously so that everybody see? Does this really work? Because everybody looks the same, everybody sounds the same. Your condo is green, mine is also green. My swimming pool 50 meters, mine 51. You got 47 facilities, I got 48. So what are you competing for? You're competing for, you're basically just trying to shout about, when I do this in KL, all the developers will start looking, hey, where's my logo? Why you talk about me? So please don't look for your logo. When I don't think anyone up there is here. Right? But you can't blame them because that was how it was. In KL, everybody knows about One Utama, right? Bandar Utama. When Si Hoi Chan used to launch landed property, don't even need to advertise. Put out bunting only, ma. The day before that, people line up. Next day finish, I think. Will that happen again? Nay lah. If you happen to be a landed property in KL and you're in a good location and your brand is strong, you may still be able to do it. But even that, why don't do it digitally rather than physically? If anybody from Eco World here? If you're Eco World and your brand is strong and you're launching a product, of course they do a lot of work in terms of their physical branding, their location. They immerse you in that experience, right? If they do things digitally, usually it works. But they're still doing physically. But I'm also not suggesting that you stop doing physical, okay? So keep that thought first, because property is not like buying shoes on Lazada. Okay? So, do we all agree that this does not really work in terms of lead generation? But even if you want to create awareness, you want to do awareness like, oh, like that one, does this work? I'm not going to say anything until I get the answer. Does this work? If you want to create brand awareness, does all these ads that are so cluttered and so noisy work? It doesn't, right? Because you know what? Because we are bombarded by too much information. We are now living in an age where everybody is trying to tell us to buy something. Telling me that your swimming pool is 51 meters doesn't make me want to buy a property, does it? And the worst thing is if all marketing people, right? Sometimes I also know your difficulty, you know. So maybe you got a good ad agency lah. The ad agency come up with something very canggih and then very simple, you know, like Apple ad like that. Then you bring to your boss. Then your boss say, how come you never show my picture? How come you never show this? And then by the time she finished everything, right, I look at that lah. Because you know why? Because your boss will say, I spend so much money, you know, put everything inside. Now, of course, you can see and your boss can see lah, because you put it in there lah. So the next morning you get the newspaper, you look for your ad. You think the consumers going through the star paper scared? We don't. Put yourself in the shoes of the consumer. Do you? You don't. Okay? So, it doesn't work. Another example lah. I don't know lah. Property developers have got a lot of money. Spend a lot of money on making sure that the pictures are nice, the 3D is good, and then they go and get an ad agency, and then they come up with all these wonderful words lah. Enclave of creature comforts, opulence of luxury, you know, and then you know what? You appoint agency go, then when they do their work, they just cut and paste off. So what's the difference between the art of living? I also do not know. Art of living large. So you notice there's a lot of wasted because it's like that, no? So everybody sounds the same, right? And then this one Chok say already lah. You think the other day like funny. I was in Kuching, so I was with my colleague, and we were driving down the road. And then even in Kuching, bunting after bunting after bunting, property lah. Who else? Then my colleague was telling me, Tima, you know something? I think these buntings in Kuching, at least in KL, it might work, you know. You know why Kuching cannot work? You know why not? No jam. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy. I'm not suggesting that you tell your bosses, hey, we don't do billboard anymore. If you want to buy a billboard when there's jam. And then go and look at the location first. Make sure that there's some place where your eyeballs are there. I'm not suggesting that you stop doing this. I'm just saying, hey, have a bit of thought. Right? Correct or not? Now worse, now drive car, I also sometimes will habit. The phone ring, the phone tag, who's WhatsApping me? And then you say, okay, cannot, drive car, cannot. So you try to control yourself, but we tend to want to, right? Do that. So, from a marketing perspective, guys, you have to understand one thing. There's a lot of clutter and noise out there. Everyone is shouting for your attention. I'm cheaper, I'm better, I'm faster, I'm this, I'm greener. Everybody is saying the same thing. And all of you are now competing with one another. Right? Okay? And hey, clutter does not only happen in the physical traditional world. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you go online, if you're in Facebook, you go to Facebook for what? For social stuff, right? You want to put your nice dinner that you had with your boyfriend so that your friends know. So you go there for a purpose, right? But then, if there's a Facebook ad, you think you can see? Unless it's relevant to you lah. Unless you're the targeted market. But you will blank out everything. You will blank out everything. Because you are there for a different reason. Okay? Even if you buy an ad in iProperty today, or Star Property, or Prop Wall, or whatever. Now there's so many portals, right? It's still very cluttered, right? Because IJM will be here, Marsing will be there. Then you are expecting to do what? Right? And then you may not know this, half the traffic of iProperty all agent. So they go iProperty and do research on your project. So the point is that even digitally, the world is cluttered and noisy. Okay? So even digital advertising, you really need to know what you're spending money on. Hey guys, I'm very serious about this, and you'll probably notice that because I feel that sometimes, it's very difficult to convince developers to say, okay, maybe this is the right thing to do so that I can manage my marketing budget effectively and smartly so that I know that whatever I spend, I get what I want. And in today's world, you can do that. Because everything that is digital is measurable. Okay? But the fact is, there is poor visibility, and then you know what? Digital, also people can bluff you and know. When they sell you leads and all that kind of stuff, right, they can put robots in and they click, and they say, oh, so many clicks. Right? So there's a lot of bad people trying to game the system. Right? Because they understand what you're looking for, eyeballs, impression, and all that. But in all honesty, you're not looking for that. You're looking for sales. Right? So, I don't know whether you agree with me. I didn't say this. This was taken out way back in 2006 by a source called CBS. The average person ignores more than 5,000 ads per day. And I bet you the number is growing because in today's digital world, with social, and you going to Lazada, and you doing your online shopping now you don't go, the amount of time that the people, because you don't, right? So this is a fact, okay? Are we okay or not? So I'll give you two reasons. One is basically consumer behaviors, demographics changing. Second reason, I think I have given you enough because you need to start thinking like a consumer. Because good marketeers will try to step into the shoes of the people that they are targeting so that they know how to reach accurately, engage in a way that is relevant so that I can convert you. Correct? So, the fact that the world is noisy, you need to break through the clutter lah. The third reason very simple lah. This one you know more than I. How many of you know what's the overhang in Iskandar? Number of condos that are not sold? A lot, right? I think the highest overhang of balance unit in the property market in the whole of Malaysia right now, if you go to Napik, highest is in JB lah. Right? So, the third reason is simple. Supply is outstripping demand. Right? I think all of you know this because you're in this business. It's the same thing in Klang Valley right now. Right? The days of me launching my property, even Eco-World, unless it's landed, if it's high-rise, I got 400 units, 600 units, I'm launching phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Everybody is very nervous because you cannot do what they used to do before in 2010 to 2013. Pre-launch only 60-70% sold. Right? And then they also get into a difficult kind of situation right now. Because some developers, what they do is, they launch, they get a lot of agents. Agents are very hungry. So they come with checks. Because they're all very aggressive on that. So they put the checks. They put 300 checks for 300 units. At the end of the day, all happy lah, developer, right? But real conversion 100 only. So there's a lot of issue with the supply-demand thing. Okay? So in summary, it's a challenging market. 3 fundamental reasons why you should think about changing the status quo. And these are common sense. Number 1, your consumers are changing in the way that they consume information, in the way that you shop. How much time you spend on Facebook? More than half a day. Well, don't tell your boss. I hope it's for work. Maybe she's doing it for work. Right? Do you shop online? Lazada? Zalora? Okay, old people. Sir, you bank with which bank? Do you still go to the bank? Why you still go to the bank? Do you still write checks? Do you do online banking? Yes. So you notice that the physical being is now very digital. But we are still physical. But we do things now on digital ecosystems. Right? So you must understand that to reach your target market, that's where your consumers are. Billboards may be necessary for branding. Billboards, who want to bet with me? Maybe a bit too much. Billboards are usually not good for leads generation. Billboards are good for telling people, take notice of me. Then what do you do? What do you do when you go home? You Google. Because of what you saw on the billboard. Make sure your phone number is big also. But I tell you one funny consumer behavior, and you may agree with me or disagree with me, unless you are old fart like Chok. You see a billboard. Billboard very interesting. Phone number very big. URL very big. When you go home, do you call or you Google? You Google first, right? People don't call anymore. Because I won't call until I find out more about you. So by the time they engage you, they probably Google you, not only in iProperty, but also go to Lao Yan. And then if you go to Lao Yan, you say, if your product is, a lot of people talk bad when you die. Okay? So you must understand that clutter is also another thing. If you are going to use traditional means, even if your boss, I know this is challenging because we go through this all the time. Because some of the older developers, because they are so used to it, when they look at the print app, they want everything to be in there. I know there are certain things like, the small print one you have to have, that one is regulation. But if you clutter and clutter and clutter, you end up cluttering your app, other people also clutter, you won't get their attention. Agree or not? So clutter, you have to understand, it's a noisy market, so you have to break through. And competition is stiff. You got 1,000 units, I got 1,000 units, you got 1,000 units. So many 1,000 units. Now, Country Gardens, China cannot buy, add another 50,000 units. So for these 3 reasons, I hope I've taken you where I want to take you. So do you agree with me that you need to challenge the status quo? Who disagree, then we can stop here and argue. Anybody disagree that you should not? Challenge the status quo doesn't mean that you go and upset your boss. I'm just saying that you should start thinking about a different way of doing your marketing. Yeah? Questions? Don't let me do all the work. No questions so far. So do you all agree with me that it might be important for you to start thinking about challenging the status quo? Yes? You don't shout, I don't continue. Yes, huh? Yes. So if you say yes, what's the next thing you want to know? How? Okay. So if we all agree that we should start re-looking at the way that we reach our customers, engage them. Hopefully they come to my showroom so that your salespeople can convert. You need to know how to do it. Okay? I started with a model that talks about traditional marketing where the consumer is on the other end and you are on this end. And what you do is what? You shout and you shout and you shout. Even Facebook is still shouting. Huh? Because you are treating the guy at the end and you are building, advertising, selling. In today's world, you probably agree with this because you are actually this person. There's so many ways of reaching a potential customer, but the customer now holds the power. I'm in the center. I decide what I want to see. I will only engage with things that are relevant to me. So please don't shout. If you whisper nicely and you whisper things that I may actually listen to you. Shouting may not work anymore. So the point is, you know, there is website, there is brochure, there is print ad, banner ads, all these kinds of email, direct mail, Facebook, SMS, apps, mobile, text messages, out of home, blogs. It's a world where this person here is in control. And there's so many ways now to reach a particular target market. So agree? Now we're in this world? Yeah? Okay. I will take you through a process. It's a bit simplistic, but don't worry because after my session, see, I only do the fluffy stuff. Once I think you can see where we are going, the two ladies there now who are on their screens, you see, working also on the handphone, but don't know what they're doing. They will then take you through a case study that we did in KL with one developer. We will show you how we actually are able to drive leads, yeah, and help the developer do some effective way of measuring their marketing budget as well, and also do conversion. So, how do you challenge the status quo? I'm probably already preaching to you that maybe something, when you see this, you say, team, you're telling me things I already know. But then again, you stop and you ask yourself, do you really do it? Before you do anything, define your target audiences. I'm launching 400 units of a service apartment, price between $500,000 to $750,000. Size is 850 square foot to 1,120 square foot. Of course, sometimes I know you guys have no control. Because by the time they give you the product, they already decided what to build there. Correct? Correct or not? Do you have a say?